Hello, bonjour, Calgary. Did you know that at least 238,000 people speak Français in Alberta and that 90,000 live right here in Calgary? Oui, oui, c'est vrai. It's true. And now, thanks to Shaw Community Access Programming, we get to reach out to everyone to let you know all about our special people, places, events, and activities happening in this fair city in both English and en français. That's right, mes amis. We begin the first part of our program in English and then we repeat it en français. So stay with us. Hello, bonjour. Today, we're glad to have with us Madame Franco-FUN, Suzanne de Courville Nicol. Hey, Suzanne, I see you love frogs.
I do. I've been collecting them for years. And my latest addition is, ta-da! This is Frogrenouille. Hello, mon chéri. Who is our new mascot with the Franco-FUN float in the Stampede Parade this year. So he does a great job, I'll tell you. And we'll be giving him a new name down the road, but right now he's Frogrenouille, bilingue.
Okay. And are we going to see Frogrenouille at some other events throughout the year?
We're going to bring him with us just as often as we possibly can. Yeah, because he's a real party guy.
He seems like it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Au revoir. So, Suzanne, tell us, how did it all start?
Oh my, I think the day I was born.
Probably.
You know, I was born in Hull, Quebec, raised in Ottawa, mother tongue French. Couldn't speak English until I was 9 years old. Went to school completely in French, French convent. You know, I became bilingual. Because friends are English, you're in an English environment, and I never thought twice about French or English. What's the big deal? Until I got married in '73 and lived overseas for about 5 years in Africa and Australia, Spain, Ireland, all over the States. And there was no French all of a sudden. My husband at the time didn't speak French, and it was Christmas. And there were some friends of ours, French from France, and we started singing Christmas songs all in French. And all of a sudden I got choked up. I thought, oh my goodness. I realized how much I missed my language and my home, of course. But that was the first wake-up call. And fast forward, then we're in La Ronge, northern Saskatchewan. And our children are born there, Daniel and Catherine, who are now 32 and 30, so they're not babies anymore. And my biggest challenge was, how am I going to teach my children French? Because there was no French school, there was nothing. So I got involved and started up the French immersion program there. We started off, we were 12 parents, so thanks to Canadian Parents for French and Les Langues Officielles and all the support services, we needed 15 names to have one class and a teacher for, you know, kindergarten. Well, we got 45 names in this little town of 4,000 people, half of which were First Nations. And they're still learning French there today. But my kids never went to school there because then we moved here to Calgary, first to Airdrie, another wake-up call. I find out, well, there's French as a first language education. What are you doing sending your kids to French immersion? Oh, okay. And one thing and the next, I got right in there, got very, very involved, and I was vice president of the planning committee to build the what is today La Cité des Rocheuses, which is the Franco-FUN School Community Center. I got into all kinds of things.
All kinds of organizations all over. And And then what about the time where you were a stagiaire with la CFA?
Yeah, that's a very interesting because I saw this ad, you know, and they were looking for the stagiaire trainees with different organizations. And I had just come from, you know, years of volunteer work with this, getting the school board going. Oh, I got elected as a school board trustee in La Ronge as well, Northern Lights School Division. And I thought, oh, you know, no more French, I can't. But of course, you know, destiny was waiting, and eventually I answered the call. And there were different groups that you could choose to work with, and I chose the ACFA, the French Canadian Association of Alberta. And because of that, then became much more aware politically of the challenges that Francophones face living in a minority situation. Things that I never thought twice about, and all of a sudden it was, oh my goodness, new terms like redneck. I'd never heard that. What's that? And many things that happened that I guess just fueled my fire to keep on going. And what I saw was there was a total lack of visibility, positive visibility for Francophones. You know, there was a community over here and nobody involved with mainstream Calgary, nobody out there at all. And I'm comfortable with, you know, whether it's the mailman or the prime minister, it really doesn't matter. They all put their pants on one leg at a time. and I'm just, you know, I come alive around people, and I love people. And somehow I always wind up, I mean, I can be in a room of 400 people and wind up with the one person that I'm supposed to talk to. For instance, Ralph Klein, way back, who at the time was Minister of the Environment and became Premier of Alberta. And I was at a convention and I thought, oh, who is this guy? I don't know, but I should talk to him. And it's just always things like that that happen.
Happens like that, yeah. And I guess when you're living in a bilingual environment like Ottawa Hall, you don't realize how difficult it might be for Francophone minorities who maybe do not, you know, have all the services that services, education, that's not on every street corner. And that's how, because of my children, I got so involved with the education side of things. When they first started school, there was one French Catholic school, L'École Sainte-Anne, which grew to Le Pavillon Saint-Paul. That's where they started. And then eventually L'École Sainte-Marguerite-Bourgeois, which is part of La Cité des Rocheuses, where they continued studies, but then transferred on to English studies because it was closer to home, because bigger environment. I mean, I can't blame them. That's what they wanted. And they went to Bishop McNally High and loved every minute of very good education. And they're perfectly bilingual, and now have children. And my grandchildren are just little, 2 and 4, and a brand new baby, and so I'm hoping they'll all learn to speak French as well. The tradition.
It's such a struggle. It's a real a challenge. You really have to be committed. And I remember even in high school, although my parents would talk to me in French, I went completely to school in French, and yet I'd answer in English. But in the back of my mind, I thought, I have to make sure that someday if I have children, they're going to speak French.
Yes.
And I did that, so more than that.
That's right. Somebody else has to continue. Talk to us a little bit about Rouleauville.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Rouleauville. Well, when we moved to Calgary first in 78, but then we came back in 85 from Saskatchewan and then Airdrie. Going to the French church, and you know, there was a Léo Boileau at the time saying, Calgary was all in French in the beginning, and oh really? Ah oui, les frères Rouleau and all that. But nobody could give me any details. Nobody could tell me any more than, yeah, it was all in French. So I went about and did my own research and was fascinated with what I discovered, which I could talk to you for 3 days about that, so I won't get into it. But basically the Mission District, which is just close to Stampede, and where St. Mary's Cathedral is located, all began in French. Holy Cross Hospital, L'Hôpital Sainte-Croix, Grey Nuns, French, Montreal. So our health system started there. Education with the Faithful Companions of Jesus, and Madeleine Douet was the founding sister in France. But it was Mother Mary Green who came out here, and they started up the education process. Father Lacombe, I mean, there's so much information and such a wealth of information. And then, of course, the Rouleau brothers, the first Supreme Court Justice, Judge Rouleau, and his brother, 1886 and 87 they arrived, 85 and 87. And Dr. Rouleau, who was the first Surgeon General with the RCMP, or what's RCMP now. At the time, he was the first Belgian consulate. I mean, it goes on and on, but that's that. But nobody seems to know. Very few people are aware of that. All traces of French were erased, of course, when the annexation in 1907 of Rouleauville. And street names changed. 17th Avenue used to be La Rue Notre Dame, on and on and on. So with the whole Rouleauville thing, I actually did a special back in '94. 94 was a big year. It was the 100th anniversary of the city of Calgary. And I did a special, which is now on YouTube, actually, 1994, Rouleauville, then and now. From that came many other things. I'm going to fast forward to just this year at Fort Calgary, and thanks to Shaw TV, we recorded a special program, a 1 hour English and 1 hour in French, of a PowerPoint presentation that's very, very clear and specific that Ken Lapointe did. And I'm hoping to have that included in the Alberta curriculum. It's important that our youth learn where we come from.
Yes.
And that they appreciate the Francophone and Catholic roots of this city. Appreciate it. And
before we continue in French, just tell us a little bit how this Hello Bonjour Calgary show came about.
Well, very interesting. Years ago, I did the French version that was just Bonjour Calgary. And it was not my show. I was simply helping out. And I always felt it was a shame that you're only speaking to French-speaking people. And there's so much information and so many interesting things. Why not do it in both languages? So in 2012, the 100th anniversary, we had the float in the Stampede Parade, and yet English media totally ignored us. I thought, what is this? Come on. And so I thought, I wonder if I could get something going with Shaw Cable. So I sent in a proposal, and that's how it all started. And this show is great. We get rave reviews. You get noticed now. Everybody knows who you are. And it's really a win-win situation, because many couples are, one parent speaks French, the other English, and this way they can sit and share something together.
Yeah.
So,
thank you so much for being with us today.
You're very welcome.
And we'll continue en français.